And we're back on all popular channels, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. We're back on another episode of God Live B2B Jam Session. We are unleashing the future of work. And it's Thursday, everybody. It's freaking Thursday, which is amazing. Thank goodness it's Thursday. Nowadays, during these COVID-19 times, Thursday is the new Friday. So enjoy yourself, take a break, get ready to turn up to Saturday, which is going to be tomorrow's Friday. And if you're tuning in from Oakland, much love to you. Thank you for tuning in to our lovely backyard, Oakland, California. Oakland, stand up. If you're in Oakland, what are you doing this weekend? Let's hang. Let us know. If you're volunteering, if you're hanging out, going to the park with your family and kids, let us know in the comments. If you're tuning in from the UK, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, because we have an international audience, please show us some love as well. Let us know your name and get ready for my special guest today. Man, I am talking to my man, Kenneth, who is the founder and managing director of Fidelitel. And Fidelitel is America. This is not just Texas or Seattle or Washington, America's first telecom operator tailored to the African diaspora and people of African descent. Fidelitel is a prepaid wireless connecting Afro communities who demand simple, affordable, reliable, and seamless connectivity at an unbeatable value. And it's incredibly exciting for me to talk with him because he has such a powerful story in terms of how he led and what led him to building the company and just his upbringing as well as how he transitioned into the US. Similar to him, we're both immigrants. So, you know, he's an African boy like me as well. So, you know, I'm excited to talk with him because he's actually a really great friend for us at our company, Guide. And he has so much wisdom to share on building a company, being an entrepreneur, and really always beating the odds and being resilient. So if you're excited to hear a little bit more about him and chat with us, please be a part of the conversation. And much love to Mava, who's tuning in from Spain, and Sanjeev, who is tuning in from God knows where. Sanjeev, let us know where you're tuning in from. Kenneth, what's up, man? Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, my man. How are you doing?
It's truly an honor to have you on the show, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm managing, the season, the hard times have been challenging, but better for all of us. It depends on how you're viewing it.
Yeah. No, we'd love for you to share because, you've been building your business for quite some time now. And you stay in Seattle, correct?
Yeah, I live in Seattle, Washington. Yeah, it's rainy actually today. It's rainy.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. It's summer, but it's rainy today. Yeah, very, very weird.
Yeah, if you're listening and tuning in from Seattle, stand up. Seattle is in the building. We'd love for you to share a little bit more about, what inspired you to build the company, and because you shared your story with me on how you actually even just transitioned to the U.S. and all of the different businesses that you started before. But what inspired Fidelitel?
So I 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I had this vision when I was working with Microsoft before. And, I approached my manager and, I told her, hey, why do you collect these phone numbers from customers and then you're not using them? And from there, actually, my manager told me, hey, we will use them for the future for marketing purposes, but now we don't have the system to do marketing. And I said, oh, okay. So for me, that a bulb kind of lit up. I was like, oh, this is an opportunity, right? Mm. And I don't know if you know, but Africans, we are opportunists as well.
Yeah.
You hear an idea, and if you are an entrepreneur, something just will spark you up, and you will start building something. And so that's where I started building a company called TextWeek. And TextWeek was one of the companies that I started. And I built actually TextWeek when I was going through the downtime of my life. I know I mentioned that to you. And for the audience that are here, everyone goes through hard time. And for me, that was when I was going through a divorce. And so I decided when I moved out, I went to my single room. And that's when ideas started flowing, when you're stressed up, when you're pressed down, when you feel like you're done, the ideas started flowing. and so I started building TextWeek, a text messaging software. So from there, I built it. We had a lot of customers, clients, and then from there, I brought in a team, co-founders, which unfortunately later, which this is also a part of what entrepreneurship is all about.
Yeah.
We had a disagreement, and I lost my company.
Wow.
So my bigger goal when I was writing TextWeek, my bigger goal was to own a telecommunication, just to start from text messaging and later own a telecommunication. But honestly, my downfall was my other phase of life. It was kind of like a transitioning and taking me to my bigger goal and my bigger dream. Of course, I was really stressed. Sometimes I joke around when I speak to people. It's like I spent 2 weeks. I don't know the audience here, but I spent 2 weeks walking. Walking in the house with my underwear. Like just like I'm not shaved. I was not shaving. I was just like really, I was looking so miserable because this was like my baby that I worked and built for 2 years. And you're seeing it's growing, money is coming in, and people are starting to see your fruits. And then all of a sudden, just like that, something just disappears. And you have this stressful moment. And so then for those 2 weeks, I was sitting down. I was just in the house, not doing anything. I was just Netflixing. I was just listening, watching movies, and I thought my life was over in terms of technology and in terms of an entrepreneurship. But that's when a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, came in and was like, hey, opened up and the curtains and it's like, hey, you really need to get your stuffs together. You need to get your life together. You're an entrepreneur. Just think about the bigger picture you had for this. And I said, no, I can't go there because I needed this to take me there. But honestly, I didn't need that to take me here. I know, I had my God really on my side. And one of the things that I remember is a friend of mine who I met at who is actually my co-founder now. I met him in Kenya when I was flying to Morocco to meet with my team, and then to Kenya. This is honestly, to me, this is God's doing, where God connected me to this person, and we met at a coffee shop in Kenya, and we were discussing. He wanted me to help him on his platform. Nothing had to do with my stuff at all. And so later down the line, like immediately after my companies fell down, the same month, he contacted me.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be, this is in Kenya. He's in Kenya. And he contacted me, said, I'm going to be in Spokane, Oregon. And you live in Seattle. Why don't you come and meet me? Right. And immediately, that's the same week actually that I was stressed up and I didn't have anything to do. I lost everything. I remember me going there, and while I was on the bus, yeah, and the bus was going to Oregon, so I took the bus and my laptop, and I'm just walking, and this idea started flowing. Like, hey, you know what? Why don't you go to that idea? Because I started applying for FCC license. I started figuring out how I can get the FCC license, like 2-3 years ago. And I did not know how I'm going to acquire the FCC license because I didn't have money. I could not pay for the attorneys and fees and all that to get the license to own a telecommunication. So I met him. I met up with him, and we started talking about his idea. And then he asked me, "What have you been up to?"
Yeah.
So I mentioned what I was up to, and then there was like, "Oh, he brushed it off a little bit." And we were walking by a subway, and then when he got back, he was like, "Hey, I would love to help."
Yeah.
So that's how I got a business partner, and I got some fundings from him immediately. Actually, that's a God doing, honestly, because this is someone from Kenya. I expected maybe someone from the US to help me, but
Yeah.
he was like, for me, it was like God brought him to me, the US. And then so from there, so I applied for FCC license, and I got it took a couple months, and then I got the FCC license. And then also I started partnership with AT&T, and the deal did not go very well with
Wow.
us and them through a third party. And then again, that was another my downfall. I was like, oh shoot, is this thing going to work? And then again we started from scratch again. Then we were going to launch the business December. Then we fell, like we hit a glitch. um, and then so I was like, oh, this is really tough. And when you have a bigger dream, when you have a bigger goal, you just have to keep pressing and pressing and pressing on. It's just like nothing can ever stop you. So I was just moving. And for me, stumbling blocks were just a way for me to show me that I had a bigger picture. And I remember one audio I listened one time. It said that if your vision is, if you can fund your vision, that's not a vision. But if you have a vision and a bigger dream and you cannot fund it, and God will find people to fund you, then you have something that you should not let go. And since for me, that's something that I started holding on. I was like, I cannot fund this. This was like a multi-million-dollar business, so I could not really fund it. And so from there, we got the license, and then we partnered with, we applied for T-Mobile. So this was really funny. We applied for T-Mobile next, and it took 3 months because T-Mobile was in a merger with Sprint.
Hmm.
So yeah,
And this
so
was most
T-Mobile,
recent, right?
yeah. So now, like the merger with Sprint, so T-Mobile was receiving a lot of inquiries, a lot of partnership, and so they were really super busy, and we kept on going on, sending emails. I remember I was sending emails every week or twice. And I was just following up with them, and I'm like, this was through also a third party that I was like, hey guys, please do this for us. I even reached out to C-level executive on LinkedIn, because that's how persistent I was. And so yeah, eventually I received an email, and it said, T-Mobile has really accepted you guys, because right now they're not accepting many people because of the merger, but they have accepted you. I was like, what? That was like a shocker to me. So and then so we also got a license, the FCC license to own a telecommunication. And so we started building our own platform. So the uniqueness of what we've done is we own our own platform.
Wow.
We own an MVNE, which is a mobile virtual network enabler, which is connected to the T-Mobile and their third-party backend. For our system is a billing system, and also we own our customer portal. So our customer portal is the one that I've tirelessly been working all night building it with a team, and also we've built up our board members and a team around us, a community that we've really been receiving. And also now, as I'm speaking to you, we have it's taken us longer. This was like our second phase again of coming up, and so we have our first beta tester, and we are going to start doing publication and talking about where we are going. Also, we applied for funds for many people, many companies, and most people turned us down, but that doesn't mean that we have to stop the business, because we don't depend on their opinion or on their funds, because we just keep moving with what we have. Yeah. And so far, yeah, so that's where we are.
That's powerful. And it's crazy because how things serendipitously happen through persistence for you in terms of how you met your first backing, who's your business partner. We'd also love for you to share, because every entrepreneur who's listening to this, every person that's a part of our guide community, we're all going through COVID-19 together. What are your recommendations on how people who want to solve a problem, entrepreneurs, what are 2 to 3 things that you would have to share for them that they can learn to be persistent through times such as COVID-19?
So one of the things that really I've learned from as an entrepreneur is that really an entrepreneur needs a hard time.
Yeah.
If you get it easy, you'll not invent. You really won't see where a problem is, right? And you need to be challenged. You need to be pushed to a level where you start recognizing other things around you, because mostly as an entrepreneur, we're all focused on our ideas, and and we are focused on building stuff for other people than listening from the people and building stuff based on what their needs are.
Really co-creating them.
Like COVID, right? So like COVID, this is really it's a challenging times for entrepreneurs, especially even raising funds. I don't know your audience much, but I believe that sometimes mostly maybe you have an audience from of African origin, and then you have whites, especially, right?
Sometimes you
Asians.
mostly maybe
So
have an audience from of African origin.
yeah, so basically, I will say that one of the things that they can look at is what do they have at the moment, and especially if they are going through a tough time right now, is one of the books that I read before when I was flying back to Kenya. I read it 3 times by Viktor Frankl, and I still have it actually. It's here. Um, yeah, this is one of the book actually I always recommend people. It's Man's Search for Meaning. It's really funny book, but it talks about why, your why, and I think there's another guy also. I think somebody's Cynic or something. He talks about start with your why or something. So, but like, why are you doing what you're doing? When you know what you're doing, like for example, why am I building a telecommunication for myself? I mean, and this is just this for me is one of the projects that I'm working on, and I know soon enough you'll see a bigger project coming in actually, which is really flowing. It's been taking longer time, but it's really doing very well. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And challenging times for me is innovation, is when really I'm cooling my mind. When you're in the storm, you should not fuss. You should not just be like scared. You should be really so calm in the storm, and that's when you can listen. That's when you can see. Because there's too much noise out there. There's everyone wants to do something, but you as an entrepreneur, this is the right time to listen and refocus back on your business and see on your invention, on your venture, on what do you want to do, right? And what are the pain points, what are the challenges you're experiencing, and really reevaluating, kind of like reassessing where you're standing, and kind of pulling yourself back. Like I like the saying of the arrow, the bow and the arrow, where now this is the right time where you pull yourself back, keep on pulling yourself back and finding out and getting that strength. While this COVID is really taking everyone down, to some people, of course, it's taking them up. But now you, at the same time, you're pulling yourself, you're getting that strength. And then when the right time comes, I mean, the force that you can go with is really imaginable, or unimaginable. So one of the things is entrepreneurs should really right now at the moment, the ones who are listening, they should not be scared of anything, because really there's tough times everywhere, and COVID has affected everyone. So no one should just cry and say, oh, it's affected me alone, right? It affected everyone. And it doesn't mean that there's a lot of things that have happened, honestly. And like Black Lives Matters is another thing that really has opened many big eyes, like people to really listen to us as an entrepreneur, because in terms of the VCs and funding, right? And if you're a business that is fortunate enough to do something that can create that has created attention to the VC, then you get funded. Because really we get only 1% of the fundings. It's really hard. It's really hard for especially people of color. It's not that easy. I can tell you how many doors I've knocked. You'll be surprised. Like seriously, you will be surprised. I flew to New York, man. Like plane, train to train. I've jumped train to train, man. Like I've been practicing my pitch on the train. People wondering what is this guy doing? He's talking to himself. I jump from train to train, man. I'm like, I'm going places to places, and then when I get there, I get disappointed. And then the good thing with me is when I get disappointed, I really love that, because I I move on very fast. I'm like, okay, that's another page. I close that page, right? I don't let anybody to put me down because of either my idea or because the VCs or anybody, they're not like they don't like you. It's just like maybe it's not the right time for you,
It doesn't.
right? Or maybe your idea is not mature enough. Or there's a lot of maybes, but 1% or 0 point something percent is that they don't like you because you're black. I mean, of course, right? But we don't have to use those kind of things when it comes to an entrepreneur, because if you build something really great, even as Malcolm X said, they will build a trail to your house, something like that. And I'm paraphrasing. If you really do it passionately, and because people see your passion, people see how motivated you are. People see. You might think that people they don't see, really, like, just because people around you, your friends, your family, don't acknowledge what you're doing. People see really what you're doing, the effort you do when you're sitting at the coffee shops and you're working and you're posting, you're blogging, you're writing, your tireless nights that you're spending with your developers, or you developing a product. I mean, those things really, they work. They work. If you're building something underneath, I always say, I have this saying on myself that, Candy, you are like a Chinese bamboo tree.
What does that
You
mean?
know, yeah, I always call myself a Chinese bamboo tree, where I just have to keep watering it, no matter how people are not seeing it. I have to keep watering it for 5 years, no matter what. Even if it's my 5 years, I don't know what my 5 years will look like. Maybe it's 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, but you keep watering it, and you keep attending to it. So you're building it, and the time it shoots, the time that the small leaf just shows up out, it will take only maybe 6 weeks to grow to $1 million business, multi-million dollar business, right? So so you never know what you're doing. When, as an entrepreneur, just do it persistently. I mean, don't really quit. That's what for me I can tell
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
no, it's so powerful, man. And even in your personal story, it's the power of diligence and grit. And it's a skill that many entrepreneurs are missing. And
Right.
it applies not only to entrepreneurship, but also how you see your career. Kenneth, it's truly been an honor having you on the show, man. What is your one powerful takeaway for our guy community on how they can, hopefully build their future, build their dreams similar to what you're doing?
One of the things that I'll tell people is that I always tell people, and I think your community is you really have you've built a good community and a great community, and resourceful. It's good that you're keeping on pumping them up with this information, because yeah, because some of us actually we did not we've learned through the hard way.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of the things that I love about the street mentorship. I say that word, it's a doggy dog world.
Yeah.
The street mentorship is really good. That when not only should you depend on the books, but depend on the grounds that you're walking,
Wow.
the streets. Listen to what the streets are saying. Listen to what people are saying. You cannot just build something that people don't want. As an entrepreneur, of course, chase your passion. Chase your passion. For me, as my story, as you know, I've been houseless, right? I lost my car, man. I took buses many times, many times. I mean, for almost 4 years, I was houseless for a couple months, a lot of months, and I took buses many times. But I will show up on every meeting clean. Someone would think I have a house and I have a car, but I smell good and I work out, and I talk to them like I own the world. So is never lose that focus, never lose of focus of where you're going. Let it be before you every day, every single day. And above all, always, be I like the aspect of spirituality. If you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian, if you're a Hindu, Buddhist, whatever you are, man, like, spirituality is really great. Having the power that is greater than you to kind of guide you every day, that's really one of the things for me. My God really has never let me down. He's never really let me down. Of course, when the doors are closed, I always thank him. I thank him for that, because I've seen him open better doors and better great things for me. Um, and then the other thing also I always love to tell people is that don't, keep moving, keep going.
Mm.
Don't listen to the noises. Just ignore the noises and keep on keeping on. Actually,
Mm.
that's the title of my book that I'm kind of writing right now. It's called "Ignore the Noises, Keep on Keeping On." It's something that I started having personally, is to, because there's too many noises. There's noises that you're not better, you're not good enough, this tool won't work, or this product you're building won't work, or you won't get funding, or you're wasting your time, or look at so and so what they're doing, or oh, so and so was funded, you can be funded, or you're black, or you're white, or you're this. So those are too many noises,
Yeah.
right? So you just have to ignore them and keep on keeping on. That's one of the goals that I have myself, is keep on keeping on. And also, if there is no funds, you should not, as an entrepreneur, you should not, like 100%, I tell entrepreneurs that you should not be stopped by funds. You should not. Like, if it's for you to sell equity in your company in exchange of a developer, just do that. Like, if it's you to make sure that you're exchanging equity to get a salesperson or a marketing person, do that.
Mm.
Just change with the change of times. Be someone who can just maneuver, like change with the change of times. That's a great skill to have. Don't just grab everything for yourself. Would you rather have, I think we discussed this before, me and you, would you rather have 100% of zero or 2% of a million?
Mm.
you know so I rather get a 2% of 1 million than 100% of zero.
Yeah.
So if my 100%, I'm going to distribute it to people that are going to bring me that 2 million or 10 million, I'd rather do that, so that I can focus on what I can do best. So, like, focus on what you can do best, focus
Mm.
on what know your strength, know your weaknesses. And there's nothing wrong with you identifying your weaknesses, because knowing your weaknesses, that will help you to get the people who are stronger than you, and always be surrounded by people who are better than you. That's for me. I'm always surrounded with people who are better than me. I listen to them. I have an advisor, he's older. My team, I'm the youngest one, so I get surrounded with people who are older and people who are mature and wiser. And I listen. Of course, I have a point, but it does not mean that my point is not valid. But I have to be more careful when I'm speaking, because some people have a lot of knowledge. You just have to listen, and listening is a skill I never had. So no one ever taught me about the skill of listening. I used to think that, oh, bring speaking will be something that that can get me out there. So listen to people. That's, I can say, to your team.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Guide
So
you,
yeah.
listen to people, man. No, that's powerful. And thank you so much, Kenny, for joining us and sharing all of this brilliant wisdom with us. We must have you back for a future episode, my brother. What do you think?
Well, yeah. Actually, I really was looking forward for this one. Actually, we talked when April.
April, yeah. It doesn't
Yeah.
even that long ago.
Yeah, we talked about this one. Yeah, I know. So and a lot has happened. Actually, a lot has happened in the midst of the COVID. A lot has happened in our businesses, and yeah, I would really love to come in and talk to you, team. You and your guide group, and the entire team. You guys are doing really, 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 really great work. Your app really is, I've sat down, with your co-founder. He's a friend of ours, a mutual friend. So
Shout out to Taban Cosmo.
Taban, yeah. Shout out to Taban. Taban is really great. He's a good guy, down to earth guy. I really like his like zeal. Like, he has this grit, like something that he pushes, and I like that about him. And he's ambitious, man. So I actually met him yesterday at the coffee shop, and a day before that. Where all of us, we work from that places. So I mean, what you're doing really with your team and your group, man, I all wish your guys success. And I know, I always say this, and I keep on telling him every time I see him. I'm like, listen, all these bigger bands and bigger music group, and team. I mean, we know all these ones. Like, like these people did not, like, people think like, oh, someone is a hit, and they're like, oh, this guy is a hit. He just came out. No, 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 man. These people had rejections, and they had objections, they had blocks, they had many things. And you know what? Funny thing about life, team, is that life favors everyone. That's
Mm,
one thing we don't know. Like, we always think like, oh, we always call us, we say, oh, why me, or why am I? Stop. I always tell people, stop whining. Life is what life is. That life has to be. If your life can't go up and down, like in a hospital, that means you're not alive. If it goes flat, you're dead. So,
it's
you
true.
know, if your line is straight,
Yeah,
man,
it's
you're
a
gone.
super linear.
Yeah, you gone. So it has to be up and down, up and down, up and down. And so when you receive your up, thank God for that. Thank your maker for that, and appreciate that. If you're going down, appreciate that, and look at, why am I going down? Because it does not mean that you're going to stay that down forever. You're
Yeah,
going to go up. You're going to go up. So that's the beauty of life.
yeah.
That the season. That's how God made us. The seasons of life, right? So yeah, so man, all the best. I would really love to come in again. I would really love again to hear your audience, what they have to say. And please, well, we are looking for beta testers. If you're in the US and you'd like to test our line Fidelitel, we are now still on the beta, but we are planning to really fully launch the product soon enough. So we give 1 month, even 2 months for free, actually, until we are comfortable. Because the reason why we are doing this is we built our own platform. If it was like a platform that was built by somebody else, we'll be like, come on, we know this platform, it's working.
Yeah.
But because we want to collect bugs and make sure that we fix all those bugs, and to have a good customer service. Because also the other thing is, we want to have a language customer support as for different languages in Africa, from Africa. So people in the US, people in diaspora, and maybe say your mother, my mother, or people of different ages, if they're calling their language, if it's Amharic, if it's Yoruba, if it's Swahili, they can get a customer support. I mean, that's kind of like where we are going, and we are going to test all those slowly by slowly, hopefully. And also, if you're an investor and you would like to invest in our product, we welcome you, and we would love to hear from you. If also you have anything that you want to tell us about, change something, honestly, this is a community.
Mm.
We are one community, and we would love to hear from anybody or from your team. And thank you so much for having me, team.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
No, we appreciate you, man, and want to show love to our amazing community and audience, and to give them the last word. Shout out to Cyrus, who says, "Chase your passions, be confident, and relentlessly grind." Love that, Kenneth. And Tunde, our boy Tunde, saying, "This is resilience, persistence." So go get it, Kenneth. It's truly been an honor, man. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon, my brother.
A pleasure. Thank you, buddy.
You too,
Bye.
brother. And that was another phenomenal guest who blessed us with a lot of wisdom. And one thing that my belief is that we should take away from what Kenneth said is this power that you have as an entrepreneur or a leader, and really dictating your own future, no matter what your situation, context, or environment is. And for many people who are going through COVID-19 right now in their work or their life, whatever you're going through, you can push through it. And more importantly, there's this really grittiness that you have to have and embody if you ever want to succeed. And it's true in entrepreneurship, but it's just true in life. And this idea of the waves of life is true, right? If your life is linear, that means you're not hustling enough and you're not growing enough. So, we often grow when we do what's uncomfortable. With that said, we do have another special guest for you all coming up, but want you all to chill, hang out, get some water, get some soda, maybe grab some food, and we'll be right back with our next guest. Talk soon. so cinema. Now we cut to the girl alone. She's found on the Brooklyn Bridge, and she's truly at home. Her step has a whole new spring. The bright lights of the city are shining for her. There's a thirst in her eyes and her heart, though she thinks to look back. Right, she won't. No pause, no rewind. No pause, no rewind. Time to find out where the story goes. Side hip to hip with the curtains. Watching ourselves on cinema. Take our positions as the cameras. You'll be the guy, I'll be the girl. Watching ourselves on cinema. Time to find out where the story goes. Side hip to hip with the curtains closed. Watching ourselves on cinema. Take our positions as the cameras. You'll be the guy, I'll be the watching ourselves on cinema. Where the story goes, and the curtains close. Take our positions as the cameras. You'll be the guy, I'll be watching ourselves on cinema. Take our positions as the cameras roll. You be the guy, I'll be the girl. Watching ourselves on cinema. I was walking home, looking at the trees. Had the feeling that they were looking back at me. Thoughts that occurred to me, not of the usual kind. I don't take that for granted. I don't call them mine. I don't call them mine, 'cause in my life things are built on. They're built on surprises coming my way. Some call it coincidence, but I like to call it fate. Constant surprises coming my way. Some call it coincidence, but I like to call it fate. The higher forces want to connect. Last night in my dream, I was talking to you. You know who you are, where you dreaming to. 'Cause in my life, things are built on. They're built on. Surprises coming my way. Some call it coincidence, but
Then on my way home, I met this guy. He was not so shy, not that kind. We spoke, and suddenly I could read his mind. You think it's bad, but I don't fool myself. You think it's odd, 'cause in my life, things are built on, the build on, the build on. Some kind of coincidence, but I like to call it fate. Constant surprises coming my way. Some kind of coincidence, but I like to call it fate. Constant surprises coming my way. Some kind of coincidence, but I like to call it fate. Constant surprises coming my way. Some kind of coincidence, but I like to call it fate. Constant surprises coming my way. Some kind of coincidence, but I like to call it fate.
I pray for all my niggas and niggas and non-niggas and non-niggas. Things change, people change, love grows, come and goes.
Welcome back. Hope you had a nice break. Excited for my next guest, Erin Wilson, who is the Chief Talent Officer at Team.Ai, which is in a nutshell building the future of hiring. You know, Erin has been a prolific leader in the talent management, talent strategy, talent acquisition space for quite some time. And, you know, we're going to talk to him a little bit more about his background, how he got started in the work that he does around employee experience and talent development, as well as talent leadership, and ask him a little bit about how he's been doing through this crisis that we're all going through and what's up and coming for Team.Ai and what he's really excited about when it comes to the future of work and hiring. With that said, let me bring on my boy, Erin. Erin, what's up, man?
What's up, Tim? How you doing, man?
It's going well, man. How are you doing?
You know, we're just surviving out here like everybody else.
Yeah, through a pandemic. Where are you tuning in from, man?
Oh, today I'm right in the center of San Francisco, Hayes Valley. Valley.
Dude, literally in the center of San Francisco. You know, what have been 2 to 3 learnings that you've received, you know, during this pandemic, man?
Oh man, first and foremost, homeschooling 2 small kids while trying to build a startup is incredibly challenging.
Man.
That is a learning I cannot unlearn at this point. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I will say though that I feel like we've all had an opportunity to rethink how we invest our time and when and where we invest that time and energy. And so that's been a big learning for myself. Maybe I wasn't always investing in all the right places all the time. It was easy to just get going, you know what I mean? Get on a run. And so I've learned that I could channel my energy a bit differently.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's powerful, man. Dude, we'd love for you to share a little bit more about Team.Ai and what you all are working on with Team.Ai, which is really, really cool tech that have you all released it yet?
Not yet, man. It's coming soon. We got something coming out end of summer here, September or so. So be on the look. But yeah, man, we're in here trying to shape the future of work. You know, I think we're focused really clearly on delivering talent or helping our customers build teams for their business. So it's pretty straightforward. We believe that in order to do that in the best way, you have to leverage many things, people, most importantly, but then also process and system design, super important. And last but not least, technology. And how do we use technology to make things more efficient, more effective, more equitable, and inclusive?
And it's really important too when it comes to talent. And one of the things that we believe within God is that your talent is your greatest asset within the company, right? How you nurture them, how you grow them, how you recognize them, and even allow them to be a platform for your brand, your company is really crucial. We'd love for you to share a little bit more about, you know, before even Team.Ai, man, all of the things you've done in your really dynamic career.
Man, I'm just a recruiter. I'm really just a recruiter, but I've had the fortune of working on all sides of that coin. You know, I fell into external recruiting a long time ago and got to play a consultative role, you know, in a role of candidate advocate in many ways. And then from there moved internally. So I got to play the role of first recruiter. I grew into head of talent, had some fun that way, worked for a company called Bright Roll where we did about 550 hires in 3 years.
Wow.
And scaled into an exit to Yahoo at the time. And then from there, man, I just fell in love with systems, data, really trying to impact the talent game at scale. And so, you know, global sourcing, compliance, and eventually moved into more product development, product management in the space. And that's where we are today.
Yeah. So, you know, with Team.Ai, you know, there's this really unique tech controller building in terms of the around the future of work and the future of how hiring would be. We'd love to have you describe your definition. You know, where do you think the future of hiring is going? Do you still see resumes becoming the mainstay in how we recruit and verify and validate if someone's good to work within a company? We'd love to get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I think resumes are here to stay because it's how we communicate. So when you think about, you know, a candidate and hiring manager trying to communicate clearly to one another, that can be more challenging than it sounds. Even if we both speak English, we may not always understand each other. And so the resume is a simple way to communicate 2 ways, similar to a job description. So I don't think those are going anywhere. But there's enough data out there that hiring based on the resume alone is not a best practice. And so I think what you'll see is the assessment model evolve. So on top of the resume, what data are we using to make these decisions on who we move forward with and who we hire? And I believe that structured interviewing, which you've heard as a buzzword or a trend for 5-7 years now, will become a thing. There is no silver bullet in hiring, but structured interviewing is as close as it gets to that.
Yeah. So when you say structured interviewing, you're talking about behavioral interviews, things of that nature?
A blended, right? Talking about just as simple as stage design. So how many interactions are we going to have with this person? How many do we need to have? How many do we want to have? But more importantly, talking about something competency-based hiring.
Yeah.
And the idea that every interview should be based off a competency or cultural value that you're trying to assess in a very clear and structured, objective way.
No, that's really, really powerful. Would love for you to share a little bit about, what are a few companies you believe are doing that really, really well in terms of recruiting talent and then making sure that they're the right talent in terms of culture fit?
Yeah, well, Stripe has been a company to watch for many years. So it's not a new name in the tech industry, but I love to continue to give them credit because they continue to stay ahead of that game. All the way from the way they write their job descriptions to the innovation in recruiting whole teams versus individuals. I mean, they really thought out of the box on how to create a great experience. I'd be silly not to plug one of the companies we're working with that's investing a ton of energy into this right now, called Sweet Green. A lot of people have had a salad at the Sweet Green restaurant,
which is amazing.
Which is amazing, right? What is it? The Chipotle of salads. I'm in.
It's amazing.
But what a lot of people don't know is that they've made a huge investment in technology, and they're building out those departments in the organization. And we've had the good fortune at Team.Ai to work with them and implement some structured interviewing, and the early results have been fantastic. Outside of giving you all the data, we're talking between 20 and 30 hires out of the chute, with 46% of those being in the D&I discussion. And when we talk about how we got to those results, it's not a hunt for more supply, which often is the discussion. It is structured interviewing creates objective data that we can make informed decisions about, and move away from bias and move into using this data to make better decisions.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's powerful, man. Erin, man, when you think about the future of work, what do you think are a few skills that leaders who are managing talent and growing talent really need to nail in order to build the best teams?
Oh man, listening.
Yeah,
your teams will tell you everything that you want to hear if you just listen. I'm telling you, man. So listening, I think is one. Active listening, right? Two is just being more agile. The talent is shape-shifting, quick, and if you want to build a strong team and keep it happy and keep it motivated, you need to be agile as a leader, and understand how to iterate or evolve with the team and the business in that sense. And I think the third piece is you have to be responsive. You have to be flexible to personal needs and situations, working environments, identities, right? Different cultural attributes based on where you are in the globe. Again, the word diversity is used as a catch-all. But if you really want to be a great leader and you're managing teams around the globe, you can't take a one-size-fits-all approach into that discussion. So being truly responsive to your team and the environment you're trying to build is going to be mission critical in the future.
Man, that's powerful, brother. That's powerful, man. So where can our amazing guy community kind of follow the work that you and the Team.AI team are doing?
Hey.
That's a word tango, man. Team.AI team. Love that, man. Love the name, by the way. I always love the name. Where can they follow the movement that you all are building? And more importantly, what's next for Team.AI?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, right now we're pretty quiet about what's going on. I mean, certainly check out the website. It won't be in private beta forever, so there will be more information there to come in Q4. I'm sure of it. It's not a shameless plug for myself, but the LinkedIn platform is powerful. So I try to constantly create a very clear signal around the work that I am both doing personally, which also ties to the work Team.AI is doing. So that signal could be partners we're working with and the part of the mission we're excited about, maybe as it relates to social justice. Could be a really clear signal around the open opportunities that we're working with our customers to fill in. And we really love the idea of following our individuals on LinkedIn, because we believe that's how we create access for underrepresented individuals. We have access to these jobs, and we can share them publicly to get people in front of the hiring managers and try to build out these teams. And last but not least, reach out. My email is ew@team.ai. Just reach out. We're here.
Follow through. And shout out to Erin. If you go on his page, he has a Black Lives Matter plastered on his profile picture and on his cover image, which is much love, much bravado. Love that, Erin, man. Love your personality. Erin, man, it was truly awesome having you on the episode, man. We definitely want to hear what's your powerful takeaway for our guy community on how, one, they can make sure they stand out in the future of work.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, look, whether you're a company trying to do talent branding or an individual trying to find the right company, start within, right? We all got to realize who we are and the attributes that make us strong in that sense. And so the biggest thing is just take a deep breath, figure out really who you are, what you want to do. The market is very noisy. So as an individual, your job is to create a signal out there. All right. So really simple tip. If you're out there looking for a role, figure out what you want to do, call it a job title, and go work at that job title for a few weeks. So we have data that says the average job seeker applies to 17 different job titles.
17 different job titles. Wow.
17. The folks who apply to 6 job titles or less convert twice as much.
Wow. So it's about
on their applications.
Now volume.
It's about focus, and it's also about the fact that job descriptions have gotten out of control. Every job you think of is written 5 ways.
Yeah.
So when I tell you 17, that's really just them applying to 3 different jobs that they believe they have overlapping skills for, like project manager, event manager, business analyst, or something to that effect, because they think, they have skills that apply to those 3.
Yeah.
And then each one of those jobs is written 3 or 4 or 5 different ways. And it creates that dilution, right? But if you got that role where you feel like you're a really strong fit for that, stay focused there. Learn how the market's positioning it. Get the feedback from the interviews. Keep iterating. Keep being responsive yourself to that role you want to land, and you'll get there.
Man, that's powerful, Erin. Man, take notes if you are listening to that. Erin, man, it was truly a joy having you on, man. Let's definitely have you on for a future episode, especially once Team.Ai launches, man. What do you think, brother?
Hey, I'm in, Tim. Thanks for having me, man. This was real fun.
Of course, man. Appreciate you, brother. Talk soon, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
And that caps off today's episode of Unleashing the Future of Work. Guide Lives B2B Jam Session. Appreciate you if you are tuning in. And if you want to get access to our beta at guideapp.co, please check out guideapp.co. We are gradually iterating on our product and throughout our beta. And more importantly, we are going to be launching soon. So make sure you check out guideapp.co to get early access to our beta and be a part of our movement. With that said, if you enjoyed and loved watching today's episode, please let me know. Give me your feedback. Send me a DM in my LinkedIn or my Facebook or my Twitter, whatever. Reach out to me. And then more importantly, check out utfow.com if you are interested in sponsoring a future Guide Live B2B Jam Session episode. We're always looking for amazing sponsors. And beyond sponsors, we're always looking for people who you believe would be rock star guests to have on the show. Once again, your platform is our platform. Our platform is your platform. Let's build the future of work together. With that said, talk to you soon. And as always, peace, love, and abundance, and enjoy your Thursday. And more importantly, Oakland, if you're in the building, stand up. Let us know how you're doing. Much love to our city in our backyard, Oakland. All right, y'all. Peace.